Country first night sky reserve will be established in Ladakh. India's first dugong conservation reserve will be set up in Tamil Nadu. Varanasi has been declared as the first tourism and cultural capital of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, that is SCO. Recently, Andaman and Nicobar Island has been declared as the first clean Suzal Pradesh of India. Tamil Nadu government has issue order of setting up of 17th bird sanctuary at Nanzarayan Tank in Tirur district. Darjeeling Zoo got the status of best zoo in the country. Uttar Pradesh government has identified 14 districts for the protection of vultures. A new species of crab named Gatiana Dvivarna has been discovered in Karnataka. Thrissurs and Nilambur in Kerala and Rangals in Telangana have been included in the UNESCO Global Network of Living Cities. Country's first night safari will be built in Lucknow, Uttar Pradesh. A rare 170 carat diamond was discovered in Angola, African country. Agastya Malai Biosphere Reserve in uh, Tisnel Valley district of Tamil Nadu has been ranked as the fifth elephant reserve of Tamil Nadu. At present, the number of Ramsar sites in India has gone up to 75. The world's largest plant, Posidonia, has been discovered in Australia. A rare egg of Tamla, a, a, a rare egg of Tamla dinosaurs has been found in Madhya Pradesh. Blue Duke declare state butterfly of Sikkim's animal corona vaccines Enocovax has been launched in India, which has been developed by ICAR in Haryana. Lipstick plant has been discovered in Anza district of Arunachal Pradesh. North India first biotech park was inaugurated at uh, Ghati in Kathua district in Jammu and Kashmir. The country's first oncology laboratory was inaugurated in Kerala. Recently, a new species of monkey found in Arunachal Pradesh has been named after Sila Pass. A 5,000-year-old jewelry factory has been found in Rakhigadi, Haryana. Chandrapur district of Maharashtra was recorded as the third hottest place in the world. Uttar Pradesh has become the top producer of vegetables. Meghalaya Living Roots Bridge included in UNESCO World Heritage Site. President Ramnath Kovind named a species of yellow tulips flower as Maitri on his visit to Netherlands. Kerala became first state to introduce carbon neutral farming methods. Assam government declared the entire state as a disturbed area. India's first biomass based hydrogen plant will be set up in Madhya Pradesh. Scientists have named a new species of rain frog after Greta Thunberg. Recently, Raigad Wildlife Sanctuary was noticed as the fourth tiger reserve of Rajasthan. Haidarpur wetland in Uttar Pradesh has been recognized as Ramsar site. Kazu Valley wetland has been declared as the 16th bird sanctuary of Tamil Nadu. Varanasi has become the first Indian city to start ropeway service. HSBC India has launched India's first credit card made of fully renewable PVC plastic. Recently, the United Nations World Tourism Organizations has selected Pokam, Pokampli village in Nalgonda district of Telangana as the best tourism village in the world. Indore has become the cleanest city in India for fifth time in a recently released central government's Swachh Swachh Sarvekshan 2021. Recently, India's first grass conservation centre was inaugurated in Ranikhet, Uttarakhand. Recently, Parambikulam Recently, Parambikulam Tiger Conservation has won the Earth Guardian Award, which was instituted by uh, Northwest Group of India. Recently, India's largest open air farnery was inaugurated in Ranikhet, Uttarakhand. Kaziranga National Park has become the first national park in India to be equipped with a satellite, and Kaziranga National Park has become the first national park in India to be equipped with a satellite. Uh, Chhattisgarh is the first state to recognize community forest resources right in urban area. Recently, Guru Ghasidas National Park, located in Chhattisgarh, has become the 53 tiger reserve of the country. Kovalam in Tamil Nadu and Eden's Coast of Puducherry have been granted Blue Flags certifications. Total numbers has become 10. Total number has become 10. Kendrapara is the only district to have all the three species of crocodile. Recently, Indian biologist Shailendra Singh has won the Global Award in tortoise conservation. Recently, the area of Diffor Bill Wildlife Sanctuary in Assam has been declared as an eco-sensitive area. India's largest oil company, Indian Oil Corporations, that is IOC, will build the country's first green hydrogen plant at Mathura refinery. साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी का पार्ट देखते हैं. रिसेंटली नासा हैज़ डिस्कवर्ड ऑक्सीजन ऑन मार्स. NASA is preparing to send astronauts to the moon under the Artemis programs. Recently, ISRO successfully placed three Singapore satellites into space orbits under the PSLV C-53R DCEO mission. Russia successfully launched Iranian satellite Khayyam. James Webb telescopes capture picture of the planet Jupiter. Iran launched indigenously built rocket Zaljana into space. ISRO has planned the Venus mission by December 2024. Recently, ISRO successfully conducted a static test of S-2000 manned rated solid rocket booster HS-200 for Gaganyaan program 2023. China plans to discover the world's first habitable planets with a space telescope. Space data startup Pixels has launched its first satellite on SpaceX. China launched new satellite Gaofen 303 for Earth observations. Astronomers have discovered an identical twin of Jupiter's double as K2 2016's BLG 005 LV, which has the same mass. Amazon has tied up with Ariane Space, Blue Origin, and United Launch Alliance firms for its satellite internet launch. Recently, ISRO successfully fired the solid fuels based boosters stage of its new small satellite launch vehicles SSLV. Iran successfully fired the second military satellite Noor 2. China Long March 8 rocket launched 22 satellites into space. ISRO successfully launched Earth Observation Satellite EOS-04. NASA will retire the International Space Station in 2031. Recently, Japan has launched uh, Inmarsat 6 F1 communication satellite. Recently, NASA has launched the world's largest telescope named James Webb Space. China has launched Xi'an 605 satellite for space explorations. Indian origin Anil Menon has become SpaceX's first flight surgeon. Recently, the US space agency NASA has launched the world's first mission DART to sense the path of an asteroid. Recently, the US space agency NASA has launched the world's first mission DART to sense the path of an asteroid. Recently, NASA launched its first mission Lucky to Jupiter's Trojan's asteroid on a United Launch Alliance ULA Atlas V 401 rocket. Recently, NASA launched Earth observation satellite Landsat 9. The International Astronomical Union has named a lunar crater at the moon's south pole after Arctic explorer Matthew Hansen's. India's space agency ISRO has become the first private company to enter into an agreement with Skyroot Aerospace. ISRO launched the Earth Observation Satellite EOS-3 on 12 August 2021 from rocket GSLV F-10, which failed due to engine failure. European Space Agency ESA recently launched Eutelsat Quantum, the world's first fully reprogrammable commercial satellite. US Space Agency NASA has selected the California-based spacecraft SpaceX for the Europa missions to Jupiter moon. Europa Clipper mission will be launched in October 2024 on a Falcon Heavy rocket. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos made his space flight through the New Shepard's spacecraft of the American aerospace company Blue Origin. The other three crew members accompanying him were Mark Bezos, Jeff Bezos brothers, Wally Funk, female, and Oliver's Damon. Recently, ISRO has launched a sounding rocket RS-560 from Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh, to study neutral winds and practical integral in plasma dynamics. Recently, Google Clouds and SpaceX have tied up to provide internet service through Starlink satellite. Recently, Google Clouds and SpaceX have tied up to provide internet service through Starlink satellite. NASA has announced to send the first mobile robots to the moon by the year 2023 under the mission's Artemis. The name of its recovers is BIPER. Recently, the European Space Agency ESA has announced the appointment of the world's first disabled astronauts. Recently, China has launched a meteorological satellite Fanzian 4V. India's 42 communication satellite CMS-01 was launched by PSLV C-50 from Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh. PSLV C-49 spacecraft successfully launched 10 satellites simultaneously by ISRO from Satish Dhawan Space Centers. The US Space Agency NASA announced the launch of two robotic missions to Venus, Da Vinci and Veritas, in 2028 and 30. China sent China sent the first astronaut to its space stations. The three astronauts, N.I. Hassings, Liu Bombings, and Tang Hogbo, were launched from a Shenzhou spacecraft on a Long March 2F rocket. Recently, 70-year-old British billionaire Richard Branson has become the world's first billionaire to travel to space by spaceship two of his space company Virgin Galactic on 12 July 2021. SpaceX has launched 60 new satellites under the Starlink satellite. Recently, China has achieved success in successfully landing the first Mars rover Zhurong on Mars from the spacecraft Tianwen first. Tianyan first. Recently, New Zealand has announced to launch the world's first wooden satellite, Visa Vidsat, by the end of 2021. Timanzau 2 is the country's cargo spacecraft. Recently, the picture of ARP 273 galaxy in cosmic rays shape has been released by the space agency NASA. The Russian agency Roscosmos launched its first satellite Arcticums to monitor the climate and environment of the Arctic region. आइए अब देखते हैं डिफेंस एंड सिक्योरिटी में. Recently, North Korea declared itself a nuclear state. Recently, Bangladesh has imports 36 F-7B aircraft from China. India will buy 6 Tu-160 long-range bombers from Russia. DRDO and Indian Army test fire indigenously VL, SR, SAM missile. India's first India's first indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant, built by Cochin Shipyard, will be inducted into the Navy on 2nd September 2022. Tata Company has made an indigenous arms vehicle for the Indian Army named Quick Reactions Fighting Vehicles Medium, that is QRFV. The Advanced Light Helicopters Mk-3 joined the Coast Guard fleet. India successfully test fire Prithvi 6 second ballistic missile, INS Nisank and INS Akshay. Two warships involved in Kargil and surgical strike were decommissioned. Russia test fire Zircon missiles. Indian Air Force ranks third in the World Air Power Index 2022. Recently, Indian Navy decommissions INS Gomati from Naval Dockyard Mumbai after 34 years of service. Recently, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh launched two made-in-Indian warships INS Surat and Udaygiri at Mazgaon dockyards. Recently, Russia tested the world's most powerful nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missile RS-28 Sarmat. Scorpion class submarine Vagsir was inaugurated at Mazagon's Dock Limited. Recently, Israel successfully tested fire a new laser missile defense system Iron Beam. Yeah. Recently, DRDO successfully flight tested the anti-tank guided missile Helena. India successfully test fire Pinaka MK first rocket system. Recently, DRDO successfully test fire MRSAM missile. India's first indigenous flying trainer Hansa Energy completed trials at sea level. America handed over the 20th P-81 maritime patrol aircraft to India. Israel test fire a naval air defense system named Sea Dome. India's Goa Shipyard Limited handed over its fifth ship ICGS Saksam to the Navy. North Korea tested the most powerful missile Hwasong 12. Recently, Russia handed over 70,000 AK-203 assault rifles to India. Recently, Israel test fired the Arrow 3 anti-ballistic missile. The, the supersonic missile-assisted release of torpedo Smart was successful launch from Abdul Kalam Islands in Odisha. Russia test fire uh, T-Zircon hypersonic cruise missile. First S-400 air defense system was deployed in the Punjab sector. Israel gave Huron's drone to India to monitor Chinese activity. Israel gave Huron's drone to give to India to monitor Chinese activity. Recently, India test fire Pralay missile from the Odisha coast. Recently, Indian Navy decommissioned INS uh, Kukri after 32 years. Recently, the Indian Air Force IAF and DRDO successfully test fired the Sant missile launched from a helicopter. The Indian Navy has commissions the indigenously built fourth Scorpion class submarine INS Vela at the Naval Dockyard in Mumbai. South Korea launched the first indigenous space rocket Nuri. Recently, the Russian Navy successfully test fired the Zircon hypersonic cruise missile from a nuclear submarine for the first time. North Korea tested Hwasong 8 hypersonic missile, the name of India's first floating missile test range in INS Anves. Recently, a new weapons MRSAM missile system has been included in the Indian Air Force. Recently, the country's first nuclear missile tracking ship has been launched, named INS Dhruv. INS Khanjar has become the first Indian naval ship to be called at the heritage coastal port of Gopalpur in Odisha. Recently, Indian naval ship INS Talwar participated in a multinational maritime exercise named Cutlass Express 2021. Recently, the Indian Army has named the firing range located in Gulmarg, Jammu and Kashmir after Bollywood actress Vidya Balan. Recently, India has gifted 100 crore petrol diesel PS Zoroaster to uh, Seychelles. According to a report, India is the fourth strongest army in the world. Three indigenous three indigenously light helicopter, that is ALH Mk3rd, manufactured by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, that is HAL, were inducted into Indian Navy. Recently, the Indian Army decommissions its first destroyer ship INS Rajput after 41 years in Visakhapatnam. Indian Army and DRDO has jointly developed India's first indigenously 9mm machine pistol named ASMI. Recently, Pakistan has successfully test-fired surface-to-surface nuclear ballistic missile Shaheen First A. DRDO has successfully test-fired the new generation nuclear protection ballistic missile Agni P from APJ Abdul Kalam Islands, Odisha. Recently, the short span bridging system SSBS 10M developed by DRDO has been inducted into the Indian Army. Navy has recently decommissioned 2 artillery system, 130 mm self-propelled M46 catapults guns, and 160 mm Tempila motors. Defense Ministry has signed a contract with Bharat Dynamics Limited for 4960 million 2T anti-tank guided missile for the army. नेक्स्ट सेकेंड सीरीज में